Hey, hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron Show, and welcome to a conversation. Welcome to enlightenment. I am about to enlighten all of you on YouTube, because apparently there are a great deal of people who fail to grasp very simple concepts. I am talking about you YouTube commenters. Well, yes, I know. A majority of your comments are trolls. They are jokes. They are there to get reactions from people so you can laugh at their misery. Good for you. But there are some people who actually think these things, and I just need to let you know that you're wrong. Well, everybody is absolutely entitled to their opinion. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion about something. But, there's having an opinion, and then there's just bullshit. So, let's talk about that bullshit. Well, two types of bullshit, actually. Both which have spawned from the ever-popular first-person shooter series, Call of Duty. You know, I didn't want to talk about Call of Duty so much on my channel. There are so many other games that are more deserving of my time, more deserving to be bringing out into the spotlight than Call of Duty. But it has had such an effect on the game industry that I have no choice but to talk about it. Let us talk about the first matter of bullshit. What I call the curse of COD. Since the rise of Call of Duty becoming the most popular FPS ever, because it is popular, it is a household name, because it is so goddamn well known, everybody looks to it as a benchmark for first-person shooters. Don't do that! The upcoming first-person shooter Titanfall, which you all know by now I am really excited for, has been getting so much flack in the YouTube comment section. This comment, this single comment, just keeps reappearing and reappearing. It looks like Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty with mechs. I have played the Titanfall beta. I played it for over 30 hours. It does not resemble Call of Duty in any way, shape, or form. Besides that it is in the same genre. It is a first-person shooter. And the upcoming first-person shooter, Wolfenstein: The New Order, has been getting the same comments. It looks like COD. It plays like COD. You haven't played the game. The game hasn't come out, and people are already saying Wolfenstein: The New Order is going to be a Call of Duty knockoff. Yes, 'cause in Call of Duty, there were lasers. In Call of Duty, the Nazis had mechs. In Call of Duty, you could dual-wield rifles and dual-wield shotguns. Oh yeah, and you can take laser gun turrets off their mounts and blow Nazis apart. 'Cause Call of Duty has a gore system. 'Cause Call of Duty has all these crazy nonsensical things in it, right? And Titanfall, yeah, that totally looks like Call of Duty. You can totally wall run. You can totally double jump. You can totally get into giant robots. The Call of Duty games, for the most part, are good games. However, the name has lost its integrity. Being stamped as a game that looks like Call of Duty, even though it's most likely just hollow accusations from ignorant people, being called a Call of Duty lookalike has become a badge of dishonor. It is so hard to make a first-person shooter nowadays without being ridiculed and being said you're a clone of another popular game. Crysis has been called a Halo clone. Warhammer 40k Space Marines was a God of War clone, apparently. Saints Row is apparently a Grand Theft Auto clone, and so is Sleeping Dogs and Watch Dogs. It's not just the curse of Call of Duty. It's the curse of being popular. Once a game becomes popular, ignorant people who refuse to actually give a damn and just go with what's mainstream will immediately accuse any game that is in the same genre as another popular game. If it's a first-person shooter, it's a Call of Duty or Halo clone. If it's a third-person hack-and-slash platformer, it's a God of War clone. If it's a third-person shooter with a cover-based system, it's a Gears of War clone. If it's an open-world game where you get to explore a city and drive around in cars and all that stuff, it's a Grand Theft Auto clone. That kind of explains, if you watched my last video, why there are so many dark fantasy, RPGs, hack-and-slash kind of games coming out this year. People are just going to move to another genre if they're just going to keep being accused of making games that have nothing to do with another popular game. The curse of popularity needs to stop. It needs to end. It is needless harassment of developers. I have never worked at a video game development studio. I don't know how much hard work is put into making a video game, but I've done projects, I've edited videos, I've made videos. I've worked hard. I've done several different kinds of jobs. I've renovated houses and cooked in kitchens. I've made huge-ass high school projects for science fairs and all that crap. I can't tell you how much hard work these developers put into their games. But I assure you, making a video game is a long and difficult process. It's not all fun and games. You have to actually think about all the hard work people put into making these video games. The animations, the graphics, the sound, the voice acting, all of that takes time, money, and so much goddamn effort. So please, the next time you see a third-person shooter, a first-person shooter, a hack-and-slash game, don't just accuse it of being what's currently popular. Take a long, hard look at the game and realize not all games are the same. No game is the same to one another. Alright, that is the curse of COD. The curse of popularity. And that is bullshit created by the people. Created by YouTube fucking commenters. Now this is bullshit created by developers and publishers. It's called CODification. Because Call of Duty is so popular, people want to emulate that popularity. So what do? They go for more action-oriented campaigns. They constantly add multiplayer into their games when it's not needed. They have season passes and multiple DLCs. They have huge, overblown marketing campaigns. And they focus on what's mainstream, popular, and will make them money. Let me show you some examples. The latest Tomb Raider game. I hear it's great. I have not played the latest Tomb Raider, but I hear nothing but positive things about it. Except for the multiplayer. I keep hearing the same exact thing about Tomb Raider's multiplayer. It's tacked on. It doesn't need to be there. It feels rushed. It's a needless feature. The only reason it's there is because Call of Duty is a multiplayer-focused game, and Call of Duty's multiplayer is most popular. Therefore, by adding a multiplayer, it will make our game more successful and popular. Ugh. Battlefield 3 and 4. They're single-player campaigns. Now, Battlefield Bad Company's 2 campaign, which I played, was a great campaign. It was nothing like Call of Duty. Although it was a linear first-person shooters, the vehicles, the destructible terrain, the characters, the cutscenes, and the subtle. They weren't big over-the-top set pieces, they were subtle set pieces. Most of the set pieces you created with the destructible environment and the cutscenes. Then Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 completely changed the style of the Battlefield campaigns. The typical cutscenes where you got to see the characters interacting and talking with each other was gone. You were now always in a first-person perspective, like Call of Duty. There were now big, epic set pieces with lots of explosions and rubble, like Call of Duty? The games didn't feel as Battlefield Bad Company 2 did. Don't get me wrong, every game, even a game's sequels, can feel different from its predecessor. But there is a guideline, a basis for a franchise, a style of gameplay, a style all its own that is the core game of that series. Battlefield 3 and 4 just didn't feel like Battlefield to me. It became a completely different game that just wasn't as fun. And that's a damn shame. Now, I know I've said several times when I was talking about the curse of COD that every game, every first-person shooter should be left on its own and not be compared to Call of Duty. But god damn it! Medal of Honor and Medal of Honor Warfighter, I'm sorry, those are Call of Duty clones. They feel exactly like Call of Duty. I'm sorry, I am very sorry. Call me a hypocrite if you may, but Medal of Honor is the worst form of codification, where you are basically making a Call of Duty clone. But probably the worst part of codification, the biggest downfall to the game industry that Call of Duty has brought upon it, is turning every single release into a franchise. There can no longer be a single release of a game. It always has to be a trilogy or have multiple sequels. If a single game profits, then there must be a sequel to it. Granted, Call of Duty was not the first series to implement this sort of bad behavior, and it is bad behavior. Mario and Nintendo were the first to start this. The endless franchising, the endless sequels and spin-offs, and all that garbage. There's nothing wrong with having more than one sequel. But when you have over 10, there's a problem. End your series. Give it some dignity. Don't let it die out in a dishonorable way to dishonor the franchise that is so popular and has such an impact. Let it go out with a bang. Let it go out with some honor. And I'm afraid Mario and Call of Duty are not going to have that luxury. Turning a single game into a franchise is not the answer. Making good games is the answer, sequels or not. So, to you developers and publishers out there, if a game is like Call of Duty, if you are inspired and take the elements of a Call of Duty game into your game, that will not automatically make it popular. What will make your game popular is if it is a good game. Make a good game, people will give you their money. Not everything needs to be like Call of Duty in order for your franchise, for your game to succeed. Thank you, all of you, for listening to me ramble. I hope, perhaps, I have gotten to some of you. I have gotten inside your head and made you think about this. I wasn't trying to be insulting. I really wasn't. I was trying to spread the enlightenment, to spread the knowledge. to be a teacher of sorts. Now, I don't mean to sound sarcastic. I really don't mean to sound like an asshole. I just want to start a conversation. I want to get people talking. I want to hear your opinions in the comments below. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I way off? Or am I dead on? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys have enjoyed the Titanfall gameplay, and I'll see you guys in the next video.